as it so often does here in South Florida, came down. We're in the middle of the afternoon. We're downtown. Came down to get some lunch. So Tatum and Tammy are in a little store shopping. I've been relegated to take the umbrella and go get the car.
You know, today I was thinking about something, and it was passion, having passion for what you do. It's something that I didn't think I realized how important it was till later in life, and more specifically, probably the last 5 or 6 years or so. Even though I had passion for what I did, I didn't know how much that drove me to be successful and be good at what I did. I always knew that because I did good work, customers wanted to do business with me, whether I was working for someone else or it was later on when I was on my own, I had my own business. And that actually made it even better because then the customers felt like they were dealing with the business owner that they trusted and also had the person they wanted. So like I said, it worked out well for me later in life. But 5 or 6 years ago, I was in a meeting with one of my vendors, a very large company. Utmost respect for the CEO, who was several years older or younger than me and extremely successful, running a company that was doing several $100 million a year in business. We were up and coming and doing just incredible, hitting that, in that 10 and growing over a $20 million company in just a 3-year period. And so I started to have success and started having meetings and getting attention of people who were in larger companies wanting to do business with us and wanting to know really how I was doing it, and wanting to be a part of that. And I was at a meeting with one of them and was talking to them about it, and he kind of stops me in the middle of the conversation. He says, "I have to tell you, your passion for what you're doing is infectious, and your enthusiasm is just incredible. It's off the charts." And I realized when he said that, I was kind of like, I had to sit down in my seat just a little bit because I felt like I was coming out of my chair talking about the business, talking about what we were doing. And I realized how much I loved what I was doing and the passion that I had for it. And then when I look back at my career, everything I've done, one, I didn't get involved in, generally tried not to get involved in anything I didn't want to be involved in, that I knew I would like, but also, tried to always do things that I really, really love to do. And I mentioned yesterday when I was younger and got into the IT field, I was pretty passionate about that because I was learning and was doing good things and was ahead of the game from a lot of people my age, a lot of people who had been in the industry for 8 or 10 years already, that I knew things that they didn't know. So I realized I was ahead of that. But later in life, that became more important to me. And when that meeting happened and that guy said that to me, Keith, he said when he told me that my passion and my enthusiasm were infectious in conversation, it made me realize how, I was like on cloud 9. It made me realize how high I really was on life and work at the time, and really enjoying everything that we were doing, everything that comes along with a rapidly growing business. There was an element to it that becomes almost an addiction to continue to grow the business, and the addiction of creating jobs. I know that's kind of hard to understand if you've never done it, if you've never been there. Even people who have businesses and have been there sometimes don't see that, and it doesn't come across to them that way. I said in a video yesterday, you don't want to know what goes on up here sometimes, but those things really drove me for success. I didn't want to fail. I wanted everything to be perfect as much as I could, and it just drove me so much to want to be there every day and have a love for what I was doing and showing that passion. And I feel like that passion tend to be infectious and spread. I mean, a lot of the employees felt that way about our business. There were some employees that came to me at some point while working for me and privately told me how I had changed their perspective on some things by what we were doing and why we were doing it. You know, Simon Sinek talks about begin with why. Why do you do what you do, not what you do? There's a great video on YouTube that he did. I think it's called The Golden Circle. And he talks about the why, what, and the how, or the why and how and what. And he talks about the golden circle and why some companies are different than others. And I never really realized some of those things until I saw his video, had that conversation, and realized what passion I had for what I was doing. Now, yes, there's passion in what I have worked in the last several years in crafting. There's passion in vinyl. There's technical specifics that are to be learned and taught. All of those things create who I am and create that passion for me. But what it comes down to was the excitement of building a business, creating jobs, doing something great. You know, I have probably a skewed perspective even on money to a degree with that kind of success, because you know, we did tons and tons of work as consultants for many years for businesses, all different businesses. Some that are pretty big businesses that, you know, items that you might have purchased in your grocery store. And my old business partner, Rob, who's my buddy that lives down here in Fort Myers, told me when we hit that 20 million mark, he said, it might even been the 10 million mark, I think. But he told me, he said, you realize that no one we ever did work for reached that level. And to me, it just didn't seem that big of a deal because it came so easy to me. And, you know, my goal was to eventually grow that to a 40 or $50 million company or even larger. But, you know, having known that those people who I looked up to at one time never came close to the goals that I reached with our company, and that was pure passion and enthusiasm that drove me to work like that and to do that. So I guess today I was just kind of thinking about that and thinking about what it takes to get there. And you know, I was talking to a relative earlier who's looking at buying a business and talking about how you have to have a passion for certain things and certain lines of business and everything. And if you find that, you find your groove and you figure out what you really love and have that passion for, just kind of continuation of what I said in yesterday's video, the sky's the limit. And if you don't, you know, I look at it this way. When Tammy and I first started dating, there was nothing like the passion we had for each other, and really nothing that still compares to the passion we have for each other. It's unbelievable. We're like the old couple that still sits on the same side of the booth when we go eat dinner. You know, we hold hands and you know, PDA, all those things. We're like teenagers when it comes to that. And I've been fortunate enough to have that, near that level of passion with my work. And there's no better feeling than that, having that passion and loving what you do. So I guess I'm just kind of repeating yesterday's video, but today I wanted to talk about it in forms of having that passion and that drive. And you know, I don't know, what do you guys do? How do you find that passion for what you do? I know a lot of people do different things. A lot of people, whether you're an accountant or a lawyer or a retail clerk or whatever you are, wherever you're at on the spectrum in the workforce, what is your passion in that job? You know, I know a lot of people don't have passion for the jobs. They go to work, they come home, and they leave all that behind. For me, work is a part of me, and it has to be with me all the time. And you know, whether, you know, people try to tell me that's not healthy, you can't be thinking about work all the time, you need a break. Trust me, I get breaks. But when my mind's at ease about what I'm doing and my work and I'm able to enjoy it, like I said, my life is a lot easier in other ways too. So, just thinking about that, more about having the work environment that you want. And I think one of the greatest things that I really happened while I had the company and while I was working with employees were those couple of people who came to me privately and expressed that I had changed their view on a lot of things because of what I said. One of them was a leadership class that I taught, trying to develop and further our managers along. One of them came to me and she said, I really want to thank you because it really changed how I look at a lot of things. And then another person who was just a regular employee on the warehouse floor that picked orders and did QC and packed and shipped orders and things. She came to me one day. I'd seen a lot of the things that she posted on social media, and she came to me one day and she said, hey, she said, what we're doing here is different. She said, this is a different place. You've really changed how I look at some things. And that was all she said. So I know what she meant. And that was some of the greatest feelings in the world I think I had, was that I had a couple people that I influenced how they felt about work or life or the world or something. And it was a pretty good feeling. So hopefully everybody out there is able to find that passion. And maybe it's not with your work, maybe it's with your hobby and your crafting or whatever it is you do. And maybe that's what gives you the joy and you don't worry about work. But hopefully everybody can find that level of love in their life with what they're doing. So I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think. What's your passion?